Jana Duggar accuses sister of betrayal. I thought we were closer than this. Jana Duggar's name has once again risen to the center of family headlines, but this time the story is not about the calm, private life she has been known to maintain. Instead, it's a storm of emotion, heartbreak, and difficult family revelations. According to sources close to the Duggar circle, Jana has expressed feelings of deep betrayal by one of her sisters, revealing in a quietly emotional moment, "I thought we were closer than this." The confession sent waves through the Duggar fan community, many of whom have long admired Jana as the steady and reserved heart of the family. To see her voice pain so openly marks a significant moment, one that invites reflection not only on the dynamics within her famous family, but also on the broader themes of trust, privacy, and the challenges of loyalty in the public eye. The Duggar family, known from the long-running reality series that once showcased their deeply held faith and enormous family size, has always attracted intense scrutiny from fans and critics alike. But Jana Duggar has long been seen as the quiet observer, the reliable eldest daughter who chose a more private path, while much of her family continued to share updates online. Her life away from the spotlight was often described as peaceful and measured, making this new revelation about personal betrayal even more striking. The words she used were simple, but they carried the weight of years of loyalty and sisterhood. "I thought we were closer than this." It's a sentence that resonates universally, a reminder that even within the tightest families, misunderstandings and hurt can fracture the bond that once seemed unshakable. As the story developed, speculation began to swirl. Which sister was Jana referring to? Was it about something personal, professional, or spiritual? Fans began to revisit old family posts, social media exchanges, and interviews, trying to identify subtle signs of strain that may have gone unnoticed before. Some online commentators suggested that the rift might have stemmed from differing beliefs about lifestyle choices or privacy. Jana, who has always been a private person, may have felt uncomfortable with how certain details about her or the family were shared publicly by another sibling. In an era where personal moments can be instantly amplified online, that concern feels relatable to many viewers, reminding them that boundaries in close relationships are not always easy to maintain, especially under the lens of fame. Family dynamics within the Duggar household have always been complex. With 19 siblings, countless nieces and nephews, and multiple generations now living both publicly and privately, differences of opinion are inevitable. Jana's revelation, therefore, may not only represent a personal wound, but also a broader reflection on the evolution of family identity in the post-reality TV era. Experts who study family psychology note that families that become public figures often experience what is called emotional fragmentation. This happens when the values that once united the group begin to diverge as individuals mature and assert their independence. For Jana, who has consistently chosen discretion over drama, that fragmentation may have hit harder than for others. Her sense of betrayal could stem not just from a single act, but from the gradual erosion of shared understanding. On social media, the reactions were immediate and heartfelt. Fans expressed empathy, sending thousands of comments filled with love, prayers, and encouragement. Many wrote about their own experiences of family rifts, how trust can be broken not through grand gestures, but through small disappointments and unspoken resentment. One fan wrote, "You've always been the calm in the chaos, Jana. If you're hurting, then I know it must have been something serious." Others speculated whether Jana's decision to speak out might have been influenced by the broader shifts happening within her family in recent years. The Duggar siblings have increasingly taken individual paths, some focusing on family life, others pursuing independent projects, and a few stepping back entirely from public platforms. For Jana, whose emotional life has remained largely private, this disclosure may mark a new phase of self-assertion, a quiet but powerful reclaiming of her own narrative. The emotional tone of Jana's statement also reflects a theme that resonates far beyond celebrity families, the painful realization that relationships evolve and sometimes they evolve apart. The bond between sisters is often idealized as unbreakable, especially in families known for unity and faith. But betrayal, even when unintentional, can cut deeply because it violates not only trust but identity. Sisters often share secrets, dreams, and burdens that no one else understands. When one of them feels betrayed, it's not just about the act itself, it's about the loss of that intimate understanding. For Jana, who has spent much of her life serving as a nurturer and stabilizing presence within her household, the emotional cost of feeling betrayed by someone so close could be profound. Psychologists observing this situation point out that when long-held roles within families begin to shift, conflict can arise even in the most loving environments. Jana's role as the eldest unmarried daughter in a deeply traditional family may have created unique pressures, expectations of selflessness, responsibility, and quiet endurance. Over time, these expectations can create emotional fatigue, especially if others in the family move in directions that challenge the old norms. Jana's emotional statement may therefore represent a culmination of years of quiet sacrifice, now surfacing as she redefines what closeness means to her. There's also an important cultural dimension to this moment. The Duggar family's identity has always been intertwined with public perceptions of faith, morality, and family unity. For Jana to speak of betrayal in such a direct, human way breaks through that carefully curated image and allows space for authenticity. It shows that even within families of faith, pain is real, conflict is real, and healing takes work. This is part of what makes the story so compelling to viewers. It's not just gossip. It's a window into how people manage disappointment within deeply connected systems. Fans who once watched Jana quietly organize family gatherings and offer support now see her stepping into emotional honesty, a transformation that feels both surprising and inspiring. Experts in media communication have noted how moments like this can also become turning points for public figures. By addressing personal issues with sincerity and restraint, Jana has opened the door to a more relatable version of herself. This evolution mirrors a broader trend in media culture, where audiences are increasingly drawn to authenticity over perfection. In sharing her feelings, Jana has unintentionally sparked a discussion about vulnerability and strength, two qualities often seen as opposites, but that coexist in every human being. Viewers can see in her both the pain of betrayal and the courage it takes to speak about it, a duality that gives her story emotional depth. What makes this story particularly moving is the tone of reflection underlying it. Jana's statement was not framed in anger or revenge. There was no naming, no shaming, no dramatic accusations. Instead, her words carried the quiet ache of someone processing disappointment with grace. She expressed sadness more than outrage, suggesting that while she feels deeply hurt, she also understands the complexity of human relationships. This emotional maturity stood out to both fans and commentators, who described her as a class act even in heartbreak. The contrast between her gentle delivery and the intensity of her message only amplified the empathy people felt for her. As days passed, small updates hinted that private conversations were happening behind the scenes. Family sources mentioned attempts at reconciliation, emphasizing that Jana's statement was not meant to destroy relationships but to start a dialogue about honesty and respect. This approach aligns with her long-standing values: direct but compassionate communication. It also highlights a larger truth about forgiveness, that it begins with acknowledgement. By admitting that she felt betrayed, Jana created space for healing, both for herself and potentially for her sister. The broader public response has been remarkably introspective. Comment sections and discussion forums turned into spaces where people shared personal reflections about forgiveness, family conflict, and emotional boundaries. Many said Jana's openness gave them the courage to confront their own unresolved pain. Others admired her restraint, contrasting it with the tendency for online feuds to spiral into bitterness. In this sense, Jana's story has transcended its tabloid origins, becoming a mirror for anyone who has ever felt let down by someone they trusted deeply. There's also a broader lesson here about perception and empathy. The public often forgets that figures like Jana Duggar, despite growing up on television, are real individuals navigating emotions in real time. The pressures of public life can amplify private wounds, making it harder to process them without judgment. By sharing her feelings so vulnerably, Jana has reminded audiences that behind every headline is a person trying to make sense of their world. It's a reminder of the need for compassion, not just toward public figures, but toward anyone whose pain becomes visible. In the closing reflections of this ongoing story, Jana Duggar's words linger as both confession and lesson. "I thought we were closer than this" encapsulates the universal experience of disillusionment, a feeling that transcends fame and circumstance, but it also carries the seed of hope. The fact that she chose to voice her pain instead of burying it suggests growth and strength. Whether reconciliation comes or not, Jana's journey underscores an essential truth: that honesty, even when painful, is the first step toward healing. Her grace under pressure, her quiet resilience, and her refusal to let bitterness define her narrative all contribute to an inspiring portrait of integrity. As this chapter unfolds, the story of Jana Duggar is no longer just about betrayal. It's about evolution, courage, and the timeless quest to stay true to oneself amidst the shifting dynamics of family and fame. And perhaps that's the most powerful takeaway of all: that even in moments of heartbreak, the way we respond can transform pain into purpose, reminding us that healing begins not with forgetting, but with understanding. Thanks for watching.